The Open Public Meetings Act, and followed by a roll call.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the council was provided by transmitting a copy of the annual meeting notice to the Madison Eagle and Morris County Daily Record, posting a copy on the bulletin board at the main entrance of Borough Hall, and filing a copy in the office of the clerk on January 6, 2009. Notice of change in time of this meeting was provided in the same manner, all on January 30, 2009. Copies of this notice were made available to members of the general public. Mayor Holden is absent. Ms. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Elias will be late. Mr. Conley will arrive in a little while. Mrs. Tsukamoto?
Here.
Dr. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Dunham?
Here.
And Acting Mayor Tsukamoto?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just want to let you know that Mayor Holden is attending the dedication of the new dormitory at Drew University and will arrive late this evening. Agenda review, any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda? Anyone?
No.
Thank you. So we will proceed with the first item, Board of Health.
Good evening. Madam Chairman, council members, John and I are here to present the 2009 budget for the Health Department and answer any questions you may have. I have a few statements to make before we begin. And as we have observed from the political landscape today, change is difficult and slow to implement. The Board of Health started its program of change over a year ago, concentrating on a time expenditure program. And as a result of that program, our contractual fees to the towns we service are accurate and reflect the true cost for the services rendered and protect Madison from paying an undue share of that expense. In view of the Madison's efforts to reduce expenditures, the Board of Health on Tuesday, the 17th, has voted to adjust staffing. The budget you have received under Proposal 2009 reflects that decision with a budget of $493,149, which is less than that of 2008. We hope to achieve these results in the very near future and to go even further in our efforts for economy and efficiency. I'd like to add that the board will be contributing $117,905 to the general fund this year, an increase over last year's $90,000. This represents an unanticipated income that is turned over to the general fund. I'll turn it over for John, and he'll introduce the budget, and then we'll answer any questions you have.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
John, before
yes.
you proceed, I just want to, according to Ray, Mr. Cody, that we should be looking at the two versions in front of us and
Not the book,
the
correct.
stuff
There's a
in the
version
book.
1, version 2. Every member of the public has what you are seeing, what Dr. DiBiase just referred to. I believe it was
Version number 2.
version number 2, which
Okay.
has a staff reduction. There's a version 1, which has a full staffing. So, and now I'll turn it over to John.
Yes,
Thank
and that's
you.
the only difference between the two versions. One reflects reduction, the other one does not. As I'm sure everyone is aware, we lost one of our interlocal contracts and $5,000 less than anticipated income than we had last year. The lost contract was worth $45,527, but we had a $20,000 increase in the other contracts were made up for some of the loss. To make up for the rest of the loss, we decreased the other expenses from the budget last year by $29,000, 22% decrease. It's actually $13,000 less than what we spent last year. And most of that is because we found out that our vaccine costs were going to be a lot less, and we juggled some of our clinics around and have fewer professional fees as a result. And those are our two largest line items. And if you look at our line item sheet, you'll see that what I tried to do as I went along was reduce the departmental proposal to at or below what was actually expended last year. Also, there's a plan for the department to take a 2% raise instead of a 4% raise. Also, overtime was cut by almost 2/3. That's really it's quite a bit of cutting we did. And if there are any questions, I'd like to entertain and answer them to the best of my ability.
Dan?
I do, yeah. If you had something, Jeannie, go ahead, though.
No, we're just taking our time since we just received it.
Yeah,
We
we
want
just
to
received it.
take some time to kind of look it over, but Dan, please,
Okay.
go ahead.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment I want to make. My fellow council members know, I don't know if the public knows, but I am the liaison to the Board of Health, and I serve on the board. A week ago, when other departments came up to present their budgets, I took a position that I was looking for each department to come in with a budget that was less than their 2008 actuals. That's a tough thing to do. My position is these are tough times and they require that. I want to, and this is not self-congratulatory since I had nothing to do with it, but I do know that the health officer and the board, in particular Dr. DiBiase, have met numerous times in the last month to come up with a budget that, for the first time in this process, actually does what I said everyone should do, which is to come in at less than 2008 actuals, when you take out the personnel part of it, because there's very little control you have over personnel. And just so that we can all be clear on the figures, if you look at version 1, I'm looking at the line item total other expenses, and you'll see a proposed budget of $100,810 versus the 08 actual of $113. That's almost a $12,500 decrease, which is about a 21% decrease. That's commendable to both the board and the health officer. The difference, obviously, between the two versions that's been presented to the council and to the public is that version 2 shows a potential staff reduction. It's something that's being considered and recommended by the board. For the benefit of my other council members, the particular direction to be taken, how it's to be done, when, hasn't been determined yet. But before the end of the budget process, the board will come back to the council with a concrete proposal. But again, kudos from me anyway to the health officer and the board for what they've done with this budget.
Anyone else? Yes, Rob.
John and Lou, let's look at the anticipated revenue schedule, please. The anticipated revenues.
Which version are we looking at? They're the same for this?
Yeah, it would be the,
It's
would
the
be,
last page.
yeah, it would be the 4th page. The municipal cost column, the one to the furthest right. That's the municipal cost to the municipality.
Yes.
Okay. I guess there's just one item in there that I'm questioning, the Chatham Borough.
Yes, I
Okay.
apologize, Robert, that
Okay.
didn't follow through when it came across.
Okay.
I didn't notice it.
So that,
So it would be 51,198 minus 1,080.
okay, so the,
Whatever that comes
that'd
out
be,
to be.
all right, let me correct, that'd be 50,118. This is the first time I'm looking at these.